Hello, welcome to Family Therapy Podcast with George Church. This is the continued story of the seminarian. In this series, I'm trying to explain my being a seminarian. I'm trying to explain how religion contributed to who I am, how religion affected so many spheres of my life. I found myself in the A level, the advanced level of Queen of Apostles Seminary quite some time back. Form 5 class had a total of 36 students. Form 6 class had a total of 36 students. We had a dormitory for the A-level students. We had 2 dormitories earmarked for the A-level students. Students from the lower secondary school were not allowed into the A-level or to the advanced level dormitories. And they were prohibited by law because the priests, the regulations as at that time, they viewed the students from the lower classes as being minors, and therefore they are not supposed to hear the elder stories. They were not supposed to hear what A-level students talk about. They were not supposed to mingle. We are not supposed to be so free with these students. They looked up to us as role models. They looked up to us as parents, people who showed the way. The A-level students would break from evening preps together with the lower classes at 9:30. Then at 9:30 we would always go for night prayers. The night prayers lasted about 15 to 20 minutes, where we prayed as a school, all of us, Form 1 up to Form 6. And after night prayers, the A-level students would normally, of course, they had to request for that. They were given a leeway. They were allowed to extend their preps so that instead of going to sleep at 10, they would go to sleep at around 11, meaning that they could still go back to class for an extra 1 hour or so. And therefore, once inside the dormitory, after the late preps, sometimes we would talk secrets for the students. These were the secrets inside the A-level dormitory. Top on the list of these secrets, we would always try to exchange a story, hear from each other. How many girlfriends do you have? How do you handle your girlfriends? How do you treat your girlfriends? We would always kind of try to outshine each other, each trying to explain, to describe the holiday time, maybe the Sunday walk time that we used to go. Like, I met my girlfriend, we had a picnic, we had this, we had that, we went to a cave and all that kind of a thing. But most significant would always be on Thursdays. On Thursdays, the A-level seminarian students used to have beauty contest in the dormitory. And before we hold the beauty contest, we would always ensure that the door to the dormitory is locked, because Father Padiro, who was the principal at that time, even though they used to be called rectors, used to pop into the dormitory unannounced. Even in the middle of the night, Father Padiro could walk into the dormitory. At whatever time, this white man never used to sleep. And therefore, to ensure that he doesn't find us pants down, we used to make sure that the prefect has locked the door, so that we can always have time to clear our dirty secrets. And therefore, on Fridays, every Friday at around 11:15, all the A-level students would hold beauty contest. Yes, beauty contest. I'm talking of beauty contest. Men would hold beauty contest. And how do we do that? Every student would have to parade photographs of his girlfriend. Can you imagine? Some had 10 photographs of different girlfriends, of course. Some had 2, some had 20, some had 15. So in other words, in the middle of the dormitory, along the corridor, we would all display our would all display photographs of our girlfriends, and then there would be some kind of the moderators, guys who would move from photograph to photograph to identify the most beautiful girl of them all, meaning that in one evening you can find maybe up to about 100+ photographs of girls from various girls' schools within this then central province. Maryhill girls, Gadirimo girls, St. Francis girls, Lions girls, Bahati girls, Buruburu, all these girls' schools, people had French in them, and therefore would have a parade of photograph belonging to beauties at that time. And one guy would bring, but you are not supposed to bring a photograph of the same girl twice, so you only bring one photograph of one girl. Therefore, one man, one vote, or rather one girl, one vote, meaning that you would place the photographs on the floor, and if you have 10 girlfriends, then you'd put 10 different photographs for each of those girls. But there is one notable guy who I don't know how to describe him. He had the highest number of photographs. I remember one Friday counting up to 34 photographs, 34 photographs of different girls from different schools. This was the lion, this was the bull of the homestead as at that time. He was, whenever we went to a girls' school, this guy could come back with 2-3 photographs, and therefore he was just kind of maybe talented. I mean, this guy was handsome. Okay, he was handsome, quite good looking, and he was very stylish. His hair was always cut into a style. His trouser was well kind of reduced to size. His shirt was reduced to size. His sleeveless sweater, which was part of the school uniform, was reduced to size. His school blazer was also just wow. So the guy looked smart, and I suppose many girls really fell for him even before he talked to them, because his outward appearance, his turnout was just something that could had to be noticed somehow. And therefore he had the highest number of photographs at any given time, and this is the guy who could spend quite ample time writing letters. During those times we used to write letters to, unlike today where people send emails and maybe send text message, WhatsApp messages. During those days we used foolscaps, and special type of foolscaps. At the end of every school holiday, you'd find would buy the foolscaps that had drawings on them, drawings symbolizing or signifying love and relationship. And therefore some of us during that time would spend almost half of our prep time replying to love letters. On Thursdays we used to receive letters, and it was the most anxious moment to many students, because we used to receive letters once a week, every Thursday, and therefore we knew that on Thursday all of us would be anticipating a love letter, whether from Maryhill girls, from Gadirimo girls, from St. Francis girls, or from wherever. And therefore we waited with a bated breath, waiting for the love letters that we would read in the dormitory in the night. I mean, it just used to make one feel great, one feel wonderful. And therefore that was the thing, or rather that was the trend that the seminarians lived with, and it meant a lot. I mean, it gave us a subject of discussion. Sometimes we would talk even to midnight, and as long as Father Padiro never came knocking at our door, and we would talk even up to 2 in the morning, and still stories. Yeah, we slept in cubicles, but they were cubicles that were partitioned, or rather they were actually partitions, so that in every partition there were 2 beds, unlike today where people sleep on deckers, maybe cramped up together, but in every partition there were two people which were open along the corridor. But for me, unfortunately, I never had any photograph to display. Up to Form 5, my goodness, I was still green. I was greenhorned. I was afraid. I had never gotten to the point of, yeah, I was a coward. I was a coward of the county. And like Don Williams sings about Senorita, that young cowboy who walked up to a young Mexican girl and touched her hand and spelled how he loved her. For me, I was afraid. I was a coward of the county. Up to Form 5, I had not yet colonized a girl, or at least there is no girl who had noticed me yet. And therefore, I lived a life of kind of withdrawal. I was afraid when others are displaying their photographs. I had no photograph to display. By the way, four of us, actually there were four of us who were greenhorned and we didn't have any photograph to display. And I just wished that I had even one photograph to display. But as luck would have it, one Sunday afternoon as I went out for a walk within Kasarani Sports Complex, as I was walking within that the Kasarani Sports Center, I saw an envelope on the road. I went and picked it. Guess what I found? Two photographs of a very good girl, good looking girl. I kissed the photograph and I put it back very fast into the envelope. I knew that on Friday I will have a photograph to display. Oh my goodness, I was excited. And on reaching the seminary compound, I was excited and I couldn't wait for Friday to come for me to also participate in the beauty contest. And come Friday, and I lay my photograph on the floor in the middle of the corridor of the dormitory, the A-level dormitory, and it was cute. And when the moderator saw my photograph, that was the first that he went to, because they knew that I am a good boy, I'm a reverend father, I'm a priest, I'm destined to become a good priest, and therefore I had no girlfriend. And unfortunately, he went to my, or rather fortunate really, because I wanted everybody to know. It had been announced that for the first time George had a girlfriend, and therefore I wanted everybody to know that. And the moderator came to my photograph, picked it up, looked at it, and he said, "Wow, this is the most beautiful girl that I'd ever seen." And as he lifted the photograph for all to see, somebody pointed out, "Can you read what is written behind it?" To my disappointment, to my heartbreak, the name behind it was written, or rather, the writings behind the photograph were of another person. Actually, this guy was called something like Stephen, if I may remember, Stephen somebody. And that was the most humiliating moment, because now they just laughed at me. They laughed at me that I had picked, yani nimeokota picha nikaleta kwa display, and that was so humiliating. I regretted my action. Then I wondered, is it really primitive to be a virgin at the age of 18 or thereabout? That thing haunted me, and it was a stigma for quite a long time. People made fun of me, and it's not until somebody came and told me, "Join them. Why don't you laugh and just make a joke out of what people are joking at you?" And really, that's how I managed to come out of that cocoon that I had kind of put myself in. And looking back, I think I may have been the odd one out, or the four of us may have been the odd ones out, the four of us who didn't have any photograph to display. But I now realize that we were odd one out, but in the positive way. We were odd, yes, but we were odd in the positive way, because many young people that's where they lose connection to their life, when they get into numerous multiple relationships. Yes, that was one incident that brought us together as seminarians. And looking back, I realized that I wasn't really all that bad. I know I was a coward, but somehow my cowardice has kept me alive to today. My cowardice has taken me way beyond the age that maybe I could have reached. And I'm not quite sure whether it was because I was maybe timid of girls, or maybe because I was morally upright, or because I was just unable to really approach a girl. But all in all, I have had a fair share of my own challenges. And maybe in my next episode, I will be talking of the first girl that my heart fell for while in the seminary. I will be describing how I would meet this girl, greet her, and she greets me with a warm smile, and I ask her, please, can I talk to you? And she says, okay. And the moment she says, okay, I become tongue-tied. I mean, this girl traumatized me. Every time I rehearsed the lines, yani nilifanya rehearsal ya mistari ya kumrushia. I would even write it down, read over and over what I will tell this beautiful girl. Yet every time I saw her, I would be tongue-tied, and it traumatized me until at some point I had to let her go. I just lost her. I will be explaining about this girl in my next talk about my seminary life. I welcome you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Family Therapy Podcast. Become a member, and let us talk about our past experiences that have shaped and reshaped our lives. And let us also learn from our past experiences how we can engage our children so that they don't maybe walk through the bad roads that we walked, so that we actually work for them and not against them, so that we work towards their dream and not towards our dream through them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Once again, subscribe to Family Therapy Podcast, and let us connect for a vibrant family creation, for a vibrant family well-being. Thank you, and God bless you.